We keep this medium sized empty carton box outside our main door. It's on a table. And it's very handy whenever deliveries come in, whether it's grocery deliveries or couriers or whatever. It's very handy to ask them to fill up the box, put all the stuff in it, and then take the box into the house and then, keep everything away. Sometimes, when we're feeling particularly lazy, the groceries just sit there in the box inside the house, just inside the main door, for a couple of days. So, this was one of those days. I'd woken up in the morning and I was kind of annoyed with that box sitting there full of groceries, just, looking at me accusingly every day. It had been a couple of days since I'd cleared it. The few perishable items that had to go into the fridge, those went there, but the rest was just left in the box. So that day, I took everything and I cleared it up, and then I took the carton box outside the door to place it on the table. When I was doing that, I could hear one noise. Initially, I thought it was maybe somebody crinkling a plastic cover, but it was too consistent. It was going. So I looked around and I saw this big bumblebee. We have a balcony door right across from our main door, or from our house's main door. So this bumblebee had somehow gotten inside the building and it was trying to get out. And the only way it could think of doing that is hit itself against the glass, repeatedly go, but much faster. It was more like insisting, like it was not giving up, it was consistently going and hitting itself against the glass, slowly trying to push itself out. Oh, I have to go out, there's light there on the other side, I can see, but I can't go out, what's happening? Poor thing. So often when something like this happens, sometimes it's moths, sometimes it's a wasp, sometimes it's a bee. This was the first time I saw such a large-sized bumblebees. Those which don't fly around very fast. They don't zip around. They go very slowly wherever they go, very calmly. It was one of those kinds of bumblebees. And it was so sad to see it struggling. And so I was happy, like, oh, good, I'm so glad at this point in time, I had this, feeling to keep away all the groceries and take the box out. It was at a random time in the middle of the day. And I caught the bumblebee in time, or was able to see it struggling at the right time. So I opened the balcony door. As I opened the balcony door, it went along with the door. It was so intently focused on getting out through that glass that it didn't even notice that the door had opened and there was all this space behind it through which it can just fly away. But the poor thing was still going tick, 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 tick against the glass. I'm like, hello, dude, look behind you. There's all this space. Go, shoo. And I watched it for a bit. After a few, seconds or maybe half a minute, when I realized that it's not going to find its way back on its own, it needed some help, I took a long piece of paper and I kind of gently nudged it away slowly to the edge of the door, and then it realized and flew away. Now, why am I telling you this? I had this big smile on my face, very smug, very happy with myself. That feeling we all get when we think we've done some great job of helping someone. I felt that, the warm fuzzies. And I was getting into the house, closing the door and like, oh, silly bee, just laughing to myself. And then it hit me. The penny dropped. Oh my God, we do this all the damn time. That's why I'm telling you this. We are so stuck on something that we're trying to achieve. We're stuck on struggling a certain way that we don't even realize when other creative opportunities open up around us. We think this is the only way to do something, like the bee at the glass. We're like just going against the glass. And so focused on it that the bee didn't even realize that the door opened out and it could just fly away. And funnily, most others like the moths and the wasps, few many other insects that I've seen, going against that glass door, as soon as I open the door, they kind of go away. Especially the ones which tend to rest a bit and then keep continuing, they somehow become more aware that, oh wait, there's a shift in energy. What's that breeze I feel on my back? And then, like, slight turn and then fly right away out of the balcony and out into the sky. But this little bee is like a lot of us who don't take the time to rest, to take the time to contemplate, to breathe, because you're like, oh no, we have to do it. This has to get done. This has to happen. And this is the only way it can happen. There's no other way. So I will not look left. I will not look right. I won't become mindful of the surroundings around me. I will just keep doing what I'm doing, even though it isn't yielding any result. It's tiring me out, but there's no result. There is no progress happening. Or even if it feels like progress, there's very less progress happening. I think none of us should be like that bumblebee, right? It's a silly little thing to do. We often, especially when we feel like we are stuck somewhere, but otherwise too, we often need to pause, kind of align with our surroundings, become mindful, and then move ahead and then take the next situation. And we need to realize that, there is no only one way all the time to do something. There are more ways. And somebody's on, looking out for us. The universe is there looking out for us. There was no reason for me to have felt that I needed to put that box out there on that day at that time, but that's exactly what I was called to do. So, I was sent there to open the door for the bee, I suppose. Right? I don't know. We don't know. We're all doing roles in life which make an impact on others, knowingly or unknowingly. So there's a big world full of people and things and situations, everything aligning to help you when you're stuck somewhere, when you've come, taken the wrong turn somewhere and you've reached a point where you don't know how to move forward. There is somebody looking out for you. Having that faith that yes, there is somebody, there is something good that's going to come out of it, and then pausing and then regularly looking around as we continue to make our effort. Like, if I'd opened the door and the bee was just sitting on the door and continuing to sit on the door. Some insects do that also. I've seen that happen. They just sit there without moving because they're like frozen, after all that working hard, like, oh, nothing's going to come of it, I'm just going to sit here. When they give up, that also doesn't serve a purpose. The door's going to be open only for a certain amount of time, right? So without being either stuck nor being too active, like, oh, I have to do this, continue and push yourself to do something which isn't working. It's important to pause and then be mindful and keep realigning yourself to the situation. It makes such a difference. So, yeah, I'm sure you can think of a situation where, you're like, this is the only way to do it. And then just keep doing it without even realizing, like, oh, there's so many other opportunities. There's so many other ways. It's really funny, when we think of this and when you think of these situations, and you probably like laugh at yourself for being like that silly little bee. I can think of several, so there. Well, if you like this story, then you're going to love my free newsletter, The Feel Good Tribe. I send lots of stories from my life there, and there are different kinds of values you get from it. Sometimes it could be lessons about spirituality or life or business or mindfulness or even veganism. But sometimes it could just be plain, laughing your head off or just some contemplation and realization, whatever. But I always like to share something that will make you think and that will help you. So sign up to my free newsletter, The Feel Good Tribe. go to my website veganosaurus.com/newsletter. The link is in the show notes, and sign up. And once you sign up, you're going to get a confirmation email. You need to hit confirm, only then will you be signed up, and then you'll get a welcome email. Read that email, reply, and talk to me. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your favorite episode of the podcast. Tell me how you found me. Tell me what you do. All of it. I'd love to get to know you. I love getting replies to my newsletters, to my welcome email. And I read every single one of them personally, and I will respond to you. So I look forward to chatting with you. That's it for today. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Feel Good Factor. I'm Susmita Veganosaurus, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again very soon. Bye.